Reap the whirlwind, Sheriff Brady. Reap it!
Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn. Today's deck is absolutely absurd. It's crazy. When I was putting this together, I thought it was going to be pretty good and really double down on synergies, but I just didn't realize how deep it was going to go until I started playing these games, and I was just blown away by the sheer insanity of how much crazy stuff happens when all of these cards layer on top of each other. But this deck is called Young Guns, and the idea here is we're running Kellan the Kid so that every time we play something from exile, we get something from our hand for free. But then we're also playing Jace so that we can plot things from our hand to play from exile to trigger Kellan. And what's cool about Jace is you can plot things that technically cost 3, but then have adventures that are way more expensive than 3 and still get to cast those really expensive adventures for free because the spell is plotted, which is nuts. And they count as being cast from exile for all of our things that care about that. Pia Nalaar, Rocco Street Chef, Quintorius, Doc Aurlock. We're running it all, man. It just gets insane. I'm going to shut up. Before we talk about the deck, make sure you like the video. For those of you guys that have been liking the videos, it's because of you guys the channel is growing so fast, so thank you so much. Honestly, don't know where this channel would be without the support from you guys that have been really holding it out for me all along and hitting that like button. So if you're one of those people, thank you so much. If you're not one of those people, become one of those people. Hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, because I have deck techs coming every single day. Crazy new brews. The idea is to take ideas that nobody else is really thinking of, or at least twist them in a way that they're not thinking of, but yet min-max those ideas so that they're not just jank and that they're competitive with the meta, and you can really surprise your opponent who's just playing a normal meta deck and actually pull out wins against them. That's the idea here, because my favorite thing to do in real life Magic with real cards is to play a deck that no one's ever heard of before and have my opponent be playing a meta deck and think that they're just gonna win and kind of scoff at this weird rogue build that I have, and then just absolutely wreck face with it and see the look on their face afterwards. That's my favorite thing. And granted, you can't see the look of your opponent's face on Arena, but still, we're gonna do the next best thing, right? And we're gonna try and build these decks that are just doing things that people aren't doing and yet staying super competitive with what is very competitive in the meta. So I'm going to stop rambling about all that. If you'd like to catch me live Monday through Friday, I'm over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/QuarantineCapricorn, because if I'm alive and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming. And a really quick shout out to my patrons over at patreon.com/QuarantineCapricorn. I'm tired, guys. It's been a long day. That's 𝑦𝒓𝒐𝒌𝒆𝒏, Hector, and Kaylin at the Brew Elite tier. Bobby as a pity patron, and Terrence Rohrbach, our forever CPU savior. Thank you guys for your contributions. You are the lifeblood. You are keeping this channel going. And with all of that out of the way, the Young Guns are up, baby. Let's do it. Alright, so there are some insane synergies at work here. So many overlapping synergies. It's almost too hard to keep track of it all, but I'm going to do my best to lay it out for you guys. So, first of all, we've got Kellan the Kid. 3 mana for a 3/3 flying lifelink. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you get to cast a permanent spell with equal or lesser mana value from your hand without paying its mana cost. If you don't, you can instead put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield, so you're almost always going to get at least something off of Kellan whenever you play something from exile or, you know, anywhere that isn't your hand. So, everything in the deck is basically an adventure, and there are some things that, even though they're not adventures, you can plot them or play them from exile in other ways. So, almost everything is working super well with Kellan. We get to double up, play things from exile, play our adventure creatures from exile, and just put free things into play. But all of that synergy compounds with all of the other synergies within the deck, and it gets really, really crazy. So we also have Jace Reawakened. 2 mana, 3 loyalty planeswalker. It's got a lot of really cool abilities, but the main one we're paying attention to here is +1 to plot something with mana value 3 or less, and that lets us play it the next turn for free. So a couple of different things we can do here. First of all, this allows us to get something into exile and play it from exile. We can even play the adventure of a spell that is in exile plotted for free. So not only are we playing the adventure, it's counting as something from exile and triggering Kellan, as well as our other things that care about playing things from exile, which I'll get to in a little bit. But it's also an adventure itself, so when we get finished resolving that spell, the card's going to go back into exile and be, you know, a creature or permanent or whatever that we can still play from exile and get even more triggers off Kellan and some of the other things that trigger off of us playing things from exile. So being able to plot adventures so that we can get 2 plays from exile can be kind of crazy, and Jace also gives us a way to plot things that aren't even adventures at all so that we can still play them from exile and trigger Kellan. There's even more synergies to Jace, but we're going to leave it there for now. And then we're going to talk about Beluna Grandsquall. 3 mana for a 4/4 Trampler. Permanent spells you cast that have an adventure cost 1 less to cast. So it's not the adventure spell itself that costs 1 less. It's the actual permanent itself will cost 1 less if it has an adventure. So you play the adventure on something, it goes into exile, and then when you play the permanent from exile, it's going to cost you 1 less mana. So that's going to let you go off and play a lot more things in a turn and get way more triggers off Kellan, which gets you even more things into play. But then there's just a whole bunch of synergies that layer on top of all of this. First of all, with Jace, we can plot Beluna Grandsquall because it is technically 3 mana, but then once it's plotted, we can choose whether to play the permanent or the adventure, and it still gets played for free. So it lets us play this 5 mana adventure, Seek Thrills, for 0 mana if we can plot it with Jace, which is just kind of absurd. And then it's going to let us mill 7 cards, put all cards that have an adventure from among the milled cards into our hand. The vast majority of cards in this deck have adventures, so this is just going to completely gas us up. But more importantly, it's also going to allow us to trigger all of our things that trigger off playing things from exile. It just gets out of hand. You'll see when we get to the games, it just gets really, really, really crazy. You have like 3-4 different synergies all popping off at the same time, and you're just getting spell after spell, and it's just so much card advantage, it gets crazy. So let's go back to the bottom of the curve now and talk about the rest of the deck. We've got 2 Dock Aurlock, because this allows us to play things from exile for 2 less mana. It also lets us plot cards from our hand for 2 less mana, but we're not really doing a lot of that in this deck. We have a little bit of plot in this deck, but it's not built into the cards. It's not something we're paying mana to do. It's in the form of Jace and one other card we'll get to in a minute. So mainly we're focusing on Dock Aurlock's ability to cast things from exile for 2 less to cast. So that means anything that's plotted with Jace, we're going to be able to play for free anyway, but anything that's an adventure, we play the adventure, we put the creature into exile, now that creature can be played from exile for 2 less mana. And if Beluna's down, we can play it for 1 less mana, so we can get potentially up to 3 mana cost reduction on our adventure creatures when the creature side comes down, which can get really, really crazy. We've also got 2 Pia Nalaar, because we're playing so much stuff from exile that we're just able to generate a ton of Thopters here, which is awesome. And then we've got a bunch of adventure creatures. So 4 Questing Druid lets us play Seek the Beast, which allows us to put even more things into exile that we can play from exile to trigger Kellan and to trigger Pia and some of the other cards we haven't talked about yet, which is just crazy. But then the Questing Druid itself can be played from exile as a creature that's going to grow whenever we play anything that isn't green, which most of the stuff in this deck has a color that is not green at least. So That gets really crazy. We've got 3 Picnic Ruiners, because if we plot this, we can play Stolen Goodies for free, when normally it's a 4-mana spell, and then we still get to put the Picnic Ruiner into exile and then play it afterwards. It's just so much card advantage, it just gets completely crazy. And then we've also got 3 Bramble Familiars, because this has an adventure called Fetch Quest, which under normal circumstances costs 7 mana to play. But when you do, you get to mill 7 cards, put a creature, enchantment, or land from among the milled cards onto the battlefield. Now, sometimes we get to play this fairly and just get to enough mana to do it because we're going off so many turns flooding the board that like our opponent just can't close out the game against us even if they're aggro. We just hold them off so well. But most of the time what we're trying to do here is plot it with something like Jace. Again, since this is a 2-mana spell technically, it can be plotted with Jace's uptick that can plot anything that costs 3 or less. But then once it is plotted, either part of the card can be played for free. So we can play Fetch Quest for free and just go completely ham. Find our best thing, put it into play. If we don't have Kellan yet, we can get it into play. If we don't have Beluna Grandsquall, maybe we can get that and use that to go off. Like, can be absolutely absurd. But we're going to move on to the 3-drop slots. We've got 1 Kellan Joins Up, legendary enchantment for 3 mana. When it enters, you get to exile a non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your hand, and if you do, that card becomes plotted. So this is another way, in addition to Jace, to, you know, plot something that costs 3 or less, and then get lots of value off of it by being able to play it from exile. And if it's an adventure spell, we can play the adventure itself from exile, trigger all of our from exile stuff, and then play the creature itself from exile afterwards. So lots of value here with that plot, but it's also another way, just like Jace, that we can put a Bramble Familiar or a Beluna Grandsquall into exile plotted, so that we get to play that 5-mana Seek Thrills or that 7-mana Fetch Quest for free. So super good. And then when it's on the battlefield, whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, you put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. This deck is just slammed with legendaries. We're pretty much playing 2 of every legendary that works super well with stuff being played from exile. You know, we've already talked about the 2 Doc Aurlock, the 2 Pia Nalaars, the 2 Kellans, the 2 Belunas, the 2 Jaces, and there's even more. So we can get actually a lot of value off of that legendary trigger as well. And then we've got 2 Rocco Street Chef, which is another legendary creature. 3 mana for a 2/4. At the beginning of your end step, each player exiles the top card of their library. Until your next end step, each player may play the card they exiled this way. And whenever a player plays a land from exile or casts a spell from exile, you get a +1/+1 counter on anything you want and a food token. So not only are you going to generate a bunch of value here by getting counters and food tokens every time they play something they exile, and every time you play something you exile, but your whole deck is built around constantly having things to play from exile, so you can get way more triggers off of Rocco Street Chef, and it just gets really absurd. Not to mention the fact that he just gives you another thing in exile for free every turn, so that you can get triggers off your other things that get triggered off playing from exile. So you can start to see it come together where the synergy just gets insanely compounded, and everything starts to overlap, and like every time you cast a spell you just do so much, but you're doing like so many different spells in a turn, it just gets really out of hand. So we've also got 4 Imidane's Recruiter. This is another thing we can exile as a mana cost 3 thing and get plotted with the 2 cards we have in the deck that do that. But then we get to play the 5 mana thing for free, Train Troops, and make 2 2/2 White Knight creature tokens with Vigilance, and eventually also play the Recruiter from exile again and get even more triggers of playing things from exile. It just gets really crazy. And then we've got 1 Sentinel of Lost Lore. When we play this, it lets us return a card we own in exile that has an adventure to our hand, but it also gives us a little bit of extra value. We can exile a player's graveyard, which is good in this meta, and if we happen to be playing against adventures that our opponent's using, we can force them to to put it on the bottom of their library so that they don't get to play the adventure creature side of their adventure thing, which isn't going to come up very often, but it's a nice little bit of gravy on Sentinel here. But the fact that it's a 3-mana thing, again, it can be plotted with Jace, it can be plotted with Kellan, and it can just get us so much value by getting our really good things back from the adventure zone so that we can cast their adventure again. So just an insane amount of value on top over there. And then we've got Chancellor of Tales. We have 4 of these. 4 mana for a 2/3 flying fairy advisor. Whenever you cast an adventure spell, you get to copy it, and you may choose new targets for the copy. Again, almost everything in the deck is adventure spells, so this thing can go off. If you've never seen a double fetch quest hit, and each one of them trigger a bunch of exile triggers like Pia Nalaar, Rocco Street Chef, Kellan the Kid, it gets absolutely absurd. So Chancellor of Tales is awesome, and let's not even get started if you happen to have more than one on the battlefield. Everything can just get really insane. And then we've also got 2 Kellan Inquisitive Prodigy, another adventure creature, also another legendary, so contributes to our legendary matters kind of sub-theme that we have going on as well. So the adventure side, just 2 mana, we can investigate and then play an additional land this turn, helps us ramp. And then the creature side's a nice 3/4 flying vigilance, and whenever it attacks, you get to destroy up to 1 target artifact. If you controlled it, you get to draw cards. So this is a way to maybe kill some of our Thopters we make with Pia to draw more cards, or take out key problematic permanents on the opponent's side. But really, it's just a 4 mana thing that we can cast from exile to trigger Kellan so that we can play any other 4 mana thing. Maybe we get a Chancellor of Tales onto the battlefield for free, right? Because of something like that. So really, really good card there. And then we've got, in the 5-drop slot, just 2 Quintorius Kand. Now, this is a great card to begin with. We can uptick and make a dude. We can -3 and discover 4, which is going to technically be played from exile, trigger all of our exile stuff as well, which is kind of insane on its own when you think about all the ways we have to get value off that in this deck. But it also has a static ability that whenever you cast any spell from exile, you get to drain for 2. This whole deck just constantly casts everything from exile and just snowballs that into insanity. So if you get a Quint out, you could just drain a bunch of life and win the game outright, which is kind of insane. So the whole deck is just synergies on top of synergies on top of synergies. And most games it gets so hard to even keep track of all the different synergies that are going to trigger and the correct order to do things in order to get the most out of your turn, because there's just so much that can happen. You're really going to have to see the games before you start to really get a sense of that, but the deck is absolutely absurd. We only have 2 of any specific payoff, but there's so many different payoffs that all work together that it kind of doesn't matter. It just gets really, really crazy. But again, the most important cards, Kellan lets us double up on everything we're getting into play. Jace lets us plot things that really shouldn't be plotted, lets us cast things super early that we should not be playing early, like Fetch Quest or, you know, Seek Thrills. And then just insane amounts of payoffs like Rocco Street Chef and Pia Nalaar and Quint and Doc Aurlock to play things cheaper. Like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. The whole deck is just crazy. You're going to have to see it. I'm going to shut up. There isn't anything else I can say about this deck to make you understand. You're just going to have to see the games, but it is absolutely, undeniably absurd. You'll see in a minute. Our mana base is crazy. It's listed in the description if you really need to know the entire list. I'm not going to go through it here because it's very, very specific. So that we have exactly the colors we need on the turns that we need. We are running 6 Triomes and just 1 Plaza of Heroes because we do have enough legendaries to pull that off. But other than that, it's just a lot of dual lands. And this is the deck. I'm going to shut up. We're going to check out the games because they're absolutely insane. Let's do it. Alright, so 2 Doc Aurlocks. Not what I want to see, but we can make it work. The mana works. So let's keep this. We are going to need another green or a white to play Rocco on 3. If we play Rocco on 3. Hello, George. Nice tiny bones. Alright, Pickpocket coming in. We'll play the 𝐷𝑒𝑒𝑟𝑟𝑎𝑐ℎ out. Might just eat removal, which wouldn't be bad with there being a second one in our hand, to be honest. Alright. 'Tis gone. Now we have a Braids. Cannot play. Honestly, probably should have just stolen the 𝐷𝑒𝑒𝑟𝑟𝑎𝑐ℎ first. Let's see, do we Kellan Joins Up? Or do we Rocco? I like Kellan Joins Up a lot, but I think we need some board presence. We're just going to play the Rocco here. Give him a swamp. We'll get a counter on the Rocco, make a food token. No blocks. He's going to play our 𝐷𝑒𝑒𝑟𝑟𝑎𝑐ℎ, that's fine. He's just going to sack it to Braids, most likely. Which is also fine. What would you like to do, sir? Hello. Hello, George. Decline. Whole lot we can do right now. I think we'll do this. And then we'll do this. And now do we seek the beast, or do we get our 𝐷𝑒𝑒𝑟𝑟𝑎𝑐ℎ out? Probably seek the beast is better, right? We can jam 𝐷𝑒𝑒𝑟𝑟𝑎𝑐ℎ next turn and get its cost reduction the same turn, if we absolutely need to. So we'll swing. Alright, we have a garden now. Let's see what our opponent wants to do. Kellan Joins Up is going to be pretty powerful, I think. I think we want to play that first. Next turn. Go ahead. Grab something from our yard. It is a pretty cool engine. I like it. I think Braids can really shine now. Case of the Stash Skeleton. Lose 2 life and your opponent draws a card. Well, let's just sack this guy. Alright, it's my turn. We're going to seek the beast. Oh god. Oh boy. So we have a bunch of Beluna Grandsqualls. So I think we want Sentinel out. Sentinel could put Beluna back in our hand, which would be really, really strong because we have Kellan Joins Up. But we're a little bit behind on mana. Let's just do this. Let's play a Beluna. And then things will cost less. theoretically. I guess we just play Doc Aurlock. I really want to get this Beluna Grandsquall back in our hand, but we can't. Let's do it like this. No. Yeah. Let's do it like this. We're gonna lose a Beluna, but it is what it is. Swing. Probably don't want to swing with those, huh? We'll swing 2. Our opponent's gonna scoop. Alright, this looks pretty good. We'll keep it. We can Pia on 2. Seek the Beast on 3. Potentially play something that turn. And then we can Jace on 4 and start really going ham. 𝐴𝑑𝑣𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑟𝑟𝑎𝑐ℎ. I hate that card. 𝐴𝑑𝑣𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑟𝑒𝑠. Nope. Take it. We will take it. We're gonna have to take it again. But hopefully just once more. Hopefully just once more. Should be fine. Alright, I will take it. Thank you. Use your cut down now if you're gonna. Okay, or do that. That works. So we're gonna take 3 points of toxic. I think we kind of have to block, right? Kind of sucks. These cards aren't even that good, you know? We need stuff that we can actually play here. We need to be able to block. There's a land. We'll play a Questing Beast. Can't really do anything else. We're just gonna have to chump block with the Questing Beast to keep our poison count low. Dude just doesn't want to play the game. Come on, 𝐿𝑛𝑐𝑒. I ain't got all night, buddy. Sure. Doesn't attack. Well, that's good for us. We're gonna go Jace. We're gonna uptick and exile Beast Boy. We're gonna play you. And then I think we're gonna hold up Seek the Beast. It is a little bit greedy, but I think it's worth it. Additional poison counter. So we're gonna go up to 8. We're about to go up to 8 poison counters. That's crazy. Alright, we're gonna Seek the Beast before the end of his turn. Get some stuff. Man. No lands, huh? Alright, Seek the Beast. There's a land. Dock Aurlock. And everything from exile can be played for super cheap. Let's uptick, draw, and discard. Oh god. So we've got 2 green. We could Beluna Grandsquall. We could also Seek Thrills, but I don't think it's right to do in this scenario because we're just trying to stay alive. So I think... I think we just do this. And make sure we're wide enough to block. Right? No attacks. I mean, we lose everything, which is a bummer. But it is what it is. We're almost to Jace's ultimate, which is kind of cool. Jace makes copies of anything too, any spell. It doesn't have to be like an instant or sorcery, which is pretty wild. Come on, Elnop. We ain't got all day. I love it. I say that, but I just took forever trying to figure out what to do with my turn. But let's be honest, I had like 17 things. I had so much stuff exiled there. And he even saw all that, so... Are you swinging? I guess you are swinging. We'll do some of that. Get out of here. Get out of here. One, two, three, four. We could Chancellor of Tales, double tail the suspect. Isn't gonna do very much for us though. Is it better to just have Kellan down? Maybe. Maybe not. Let's do this. Yeah, we'll discard the land. I guess it just makes sense to do this. Take the action. Copy it. Get 2 clue tokens. No attacks. If he has removal, we're gonna have a very bad day. Very, very bad day. He has used up 2 pieces of removal already. Plague Nurse. Each other creature you control with toxic gains toxic 1. Necrogen Communion, sure. Really can't swing yet though, right? So I think we might be okay. Whenever we cast the spell, copy it. I mean, what? When it dies, proliferate, sure. So we're up to 9. We could get double Chancellor of Tales. You know what? I should have drawn and discarded. Well, let's do this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, sounds good to me. Let's double fetch quest. Double fetch quest. What do we want to put into play? Guess another Chancellor, right? Alright, we can get Kellan or Nia. Seems to me that Kellan makes the most sense. We've got no Vigilance, and I think we just gotta hang on, although I am worried about if he has Proliferate stuff, right? So I guess I should probably start trying to swing in. In case he draws removal, we want to keep up 3 blockers no matter what. But we also want to try to end the game really quick. Bloated Contaminator. Gains Toxic 1. Sure. But why? What? Sure. So we'll kill the Rot Priest and lose a Chancellor. That actually seems really good for us. Let's draw a card. We need something that isn't Kellan. Talk Aurlock. I mean, that works. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Double. The double doesn't really do a whole lot for us right now. Let's draw a discard. Oh god, another Jace. Let's play Kellan. Trigger everything. Get a Dock Aurlock for free. And then we can play Bramble Familiar for free. And if we had something else in our hand, we could play it. Yeah, and then we swing. Good night. 2 Kellans. Questing Druid, Quint. We're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. Let's keep 7. Alright, we're gonna start with a deserted beach. Does mean we're gonna have to choose between green or red next turn. I think it needs to be red. I think we need to seek the beast. Let's pass the turn. Hopefully we hit a land and something else we can play. That would be nice. Thirsting Roots, sure. Searching for a basic. We're gonna seek. Seeking that beast. Picnic Ruiner and a land. I mean, we probably just get max value. Make sure we play the Picnic Ruiner. We might be able to do some really insane stuff pretty soon. I think we hold off on the Pia. I'm gonna play Kellan. I'm gonna swing. Next turn, 5th land, play Quint. Discover with Quint. And then possibly play Sentinel or Pia Nalaar for free. Because of Kellan. And if we do get the Sentinel down, we could put the Questing Druid back in our hand so that we can use Seek the Beast again. Which seems kind of crazy. Seems like a lot of value. We'll probably kill the Kellan, right? Nope. She's drawn 2 cards. That's kind of crazy. Fading Hope, that guy. Wow. I mean, that's like, that's just good for us, right? Let's Quint. Let's discover. We get Kellan. We could either tail the suspect and get a 2-drop into play, or get actual Kellan. I think if we had a land in our hand, we'd tail the suspect. But since we don't, we'll play actual Kellan, get our triggers, and then what goes into play? I guess probably Sentinel. We'll return that, and we'll exile your graveyard. Man, that seems powerful. Alright, swing for 3. Mataziu. Mataziu. Come to me, Mataziu. Show me what you have. You have a Fading Hope. That's fair. That's fine. Scrap Forger. Do we have a way of making an artifact? We'd have to have Pia on the field. And then something played from exile. Which is probably not happening. I think we just go like this. And then we hold up Seek the Beast. And we uptick. And we'll swing. We don't have an artifact to destroy. That's okay. Alright, end the turn. We will Seek the Beast on his turn. Just have all the value in the world. It's so nuts. We just like never run out of cards. Ever.
Time for a complex plan. Let's improvise.
Everything triggers off of everything else. Fairy. announcement. He could get 3 more mana if he wanted it. He's gonna tap my stuff. Well, we're gonna seek the beast, my friend. We're gonna do it. A land and a Beluna. Alright, we're gonna kill you. And we're gonna gain some life here. Alright, so we're gonna have 6 mana. Gross. So, Pia. Oh, did I screw it up? Did screw it up, I think.
Sorry to wake you.
I wanted to play Beluna. I wanted to play 𝐴𝑑𝑣𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒𝑒�51. But we have 1 less mana than I thought we had. So, we'll play the normal one. Trigger Quint, trigger Pia, trigger Kellan. Put a Picnic Ruiner, I guess, into play. No, we'll do this. I guess I should have played that second. Play Questing Druid. Just so much insanity. There's just so much. This is not the greatest hand ever, but I think it's keepable. We're gonna try it. The lands are slow, that's the biggest issue. But I think it's okay. We'll go with Jetmir's Garden. We can play the coast on 2. So that we can seek the beast. Or do we just play a Questing Druid? Nah, we probably seek the beast. Let's hold off. Swing for 3. What else you got? Nothing? Alright, we're gonna seek the beast. Oof. It's kinda rough. Well, I think we're gonna Beluna Grandsquall here. Just get her out. Just be able to, you know, put down a defender that they have to deal with. They're going to have to use up their removal. Darn Epicure. Lethal Demolition. Alright, so next turn's looking like a pretty wild lethal turn for him. Which, I'm not gonna lie, is a little bit scary. I think we just need to go really wide, right? This is really tricky. The more I think about it, we probably should have played the Sparrows headquarters out. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. And no attacks. We're at 12 though. Lunarch Veteran. It's the last card, the card. Well, let's see what happens. I Ganjo the Beluna. We go to 9. We go to 9. Damn. Honestly, not a whole lot we can do here. Can't really play anything from exile. No attacks. We just have to hope he doesn't draw his bomb. That's close enough. But is he gonna swing? I guess he is. We go to 4. Imodane's Recruiter. Three, 1, 2, 3. I mean, don't know if we have enough blockers or not. I think we just go like this. Double it. No attacks. Just have to shore up our defenses. Luminous Phantom. Bramble Familiar. Double Bramble Familiar seems really good. Enchantment, land, or creature. Alright, so the first one can be Kellan or Rocco. Kellan's pretty good. I think Rocco's better. Second one. See. We already have a Pia. We could go Picnic Ruiner or Imodane's Recruiter. Do Imodane's Recruiter. 12, 15, 24 damage we could do. Not worth it. No tax. He does get to get through with one of his Luminous Phantoms. Pakal. I assume he swings with... Guess not. Got a little life gain. Oh, right. The one that he made. I forgot that when he makes it, it's attacking. Oopsie. Kellan. Now when we play Imodane's Recruiter, we get Sentinel for free. So we'll do that. We'll put a +1/+1 counter on Kellan. We'll play Sentinel for free. We'll pick both. We'll return the Bramble Familiar to our hand. We'll target you to get an exiled graveyard. That might just be lethal. Right? If he blocks the biggest creatures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 18. It's exactly 20 damage. So I think we swing with just the life linker so that we can make sure that we gain life. And we leave everything else back. Actually, we could have swung with the vigilance guys. I'm a dummy. We should have swung with the vigilance guys too. Now we've got a Beluna. Let me swap this really quick. There's just too much going on, guys. We'll put a counter on our flyer. He's swinging just to trigger the Anim, I think. So we'll go boom. And boom. And boom. And boom. I think our board is just too big. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. 6, 7, 8. 8 mana. 8 mana. Alright, we're gonna seek thrills. Yeah, that's a lot. Let's do that. Another counter here. Make another thing. Take action. And then this goes off. We get to put something into play for free. Do we already have a Kellan? Big Mama Kellan? No, we don't. So we'll do Big Mama Kellan. And then we have 3 more mana. Do we already have a Beluna? No, we don't have a Beluna. Let's play a Beluna from exile so that it triggers everything. Let's get another counter on our lifelinker. Let's put, I guess, Picnic Ruiner into play. Swing with everything that's got vigilance and the lifelinking dude. Leave everything else back as blockers. There's no way. There's no way he goes wide enough. There's no way. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. And he knows it. Alright, well. Here. 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 Is that it? Goodbye, my friend. Go ahead and gain a bunch of life. It is not gonna matter. Things are about to get really wacky. Fetch quest. Take action. Double fetch quest. Uh-oh. Are we gonna deck ourselves? We might deck ourselves. We might deck ourselves. Play the Bramble Familiar. We are completely out of cards. Put a counter on our double strike guy. Put a Questing Druid into play for free. Play the Jetmir's Garden from exile. Get more triggers. Counter on the Trample guy. And swing with everything. Because this is our last chance. Get rid of a blocker. Get double strike. Is it enough? We're about to find out. It's a lot. You should not block the Trampler. Oh, and you scoop. Doesn't even want to do the math. Alright, this looks pretty good actually. We can turn one Pia Nalaar. And then at the very least, we know we can Picnic Ruiner the next turn, even if we draw no land. But if we can draw some land, we can probably do almost anything. We're going to try it. Start with a Deserted Beach. It is a bummer we don't have the green for turn 2 Bramble Familiar. But we'll make it work. Alright, Pia Nalaar. Hatsu Gamer. Are you a Hatsu Gamer? Spirited Companion. Sounds about right. Alright, Yavimaya Coast. Well, this looks disgusting. We're gonna do Kellan Joins Up. And we're gonna exile that Bramble Familiar. And we'll swing, because why not? Hello, opponent. Gotta give you the shrug. Alright. So next turn, we can either tail the suspect or cast a Picnic Ruiner. But we also get Fetch Quest for free, which is crazy. Maybe we Fetch Quest and then we cast the Bramble Familiar itself to trigger Pia again. Yeah, that's probably what we do. Depending on what we hit with the Fetch Quest. If we top deck a land, though, we're going to play Chancellor of Tales first. No land. Alright, so first things first. We're going to Fetch Quest. We'll get... Do we want Beluna? Or Chancellor? Whenever you cast an adventure spell, copy it. That would be pretty good. I think Beluna's just gonna be better for us here. We're gonna go... Man, there's so much we can do now. It's crazy. Let's just do it this way. And swing. I mean, that's a pretty insane turn, right? That's pretty bonkers, so I'll take it. Generous Visitor. That is nothing. That is nothing compared to what we're doing. We'll take it. It's about to get gross. Let's see, we've got 4 total mana available. On each creature we control. That's crazy, dude. That is so crazy. So I think we just do this then. And then we go absolutely ham. Picnic Ruiner has double strike. Good God, we just win. Okay, I'll take it. Alright, this hand looks pretty good. We'll probably lead with the Bramble Familiar. Or maybe a Picnic Ruiner. Or maybe we just seek the beast. I really think we want to get that Kellan down, though, is the problem. I think we just play the Bramble Familiar here. Ducky Silver, would you like to shock my familiar? No, you would like to play Malcolm. Sure thing. Alright. Doesn't even really know what to discard, huh? Captain Storm. Alright, so we have 4 mana here. And so much potential. I think we just need to get Kellan down. As much as I would like to use up all of our mana, I think we just need to start getting value off Kellan. The fact that it can block the Malcolm and it has a lifelink, it's pretty nice. Alright, so you're going to tap it down. That's fine. Its abilities still work, right? Yeah, so it doesn't even matter. We just need to find a way to play something from exile. So that we can play something else for free. Right? So let's start with this. And then we'll play you. And then we'll get you out for free. And we will plot you. And then we'll keep you. And we'll grow the team. I mean, that seems pretty good. If that Kellan sticks, that's actually insanely good. So we play Stolen Goodies for free. We get Chancellor of Tales into play for free. Then we play Questing Druid. We get Picnic Ruiner for free. Jeez Louise. That's fine. All of that is fine. Don't even care. Literally don't even care. Unless you can hit me for 10. In which case, I do care. Alright, here we go. You guys ready for this? It's gonna be kinda bananas. Double, double. Oh my god. Okay, so here's what we're doing. Here's what we're doing. We're playing Chancellor. Come on, let us do the damn thing. Then we're gonna Stolen Goodies for free. We're just gonna target everything on the Kellan. Chancellor of Tales triggers. Take action. Do it again. And then we get this for free. 𝐾𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐚. We'll swing for 10. We'll gain 10 life. Hold up our blockers. And then next turn is going to be ridiculous. Theoretically. We could Quint and then Discover, which won't play an adventure. If we play Stolen Goodies, we get it twice. But we don't have any mana left over to play anything from exile. We might just want to play Quint and try to hit what we can with Discover. We could also Questing Druid and get a Picnic Ruiner for free, and then Picnic Ruiner. I guess it depends what we draw. Target creature you control explores. Sure. What you got for me? Make it so something can't block. Sure. Oh, he got the Voltage Surge. You're so lucky. You're so lucky. I can't believe he was able to get the Voltage Surge. Perfect top deck. That's gonna win him the game. That alone is going to win him the game. It is your go. Oh, he's just going to scoop. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.